Hello, everybody. Welcome to the new video on TOEFL speaking review. I'm Hamidullah, one of the TOEFL instructors of Amazon English Academy. Okay, these comments are for Murtaza, one of the TOEFL students in afternoon class. You took the test a couple of days ago, and now I'm gonna give my comments and feedbacks on your speaking, and I'll let you know what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. Okay, the question that you were supposed to give your response is this one. This is the question number one. Some students would prefer to live with roommates. Others would prefer to live alone. Which option would you prefer and why? Okay, now I'm gonna share your response and see how you can score.
I personally prefer to live with a roommate because of two reasons. First, if we live with a roommate, our roommate will help us in our homeworks if we study in a university and a college. Because in some subjects we will have problems and our roommates will help us to solve our roommates. He will know that subject than us very well. Next, we will learn new ideas from our roommates. For example, our roommate will have a good idea about how to earn money or how to establish a new business, something like that. So this is why I feel this way.
Okay, thank you. My my first impression on your speaking is that it's an excellent response, especially you don't have a lot of problems in delivery section, but there were some minor problems with your language, with grammar, with vocabulary, with word choice. For example, you said the reason. When I use the article, the article there, which is a definite article, we use it only whenever the nouns are with the nouns are definite, when the nouns are clear. The speaker and listener both know what nouns they're talking about. You in the beginning of your speaking, you said the reasons. I personally prefer this for the two reasons something. Don't say the two reasons, just say for two reasons. All right. And you put an s at the end of homework, which cannot be plural. It is only always plural. Homework is always homework. Okay. And the topic development, exactly, it was I think well developed and well organized. It was well sustained. You could bring two reasons with two examples. I think you of course score between 3 and 4, and I'm kind of doubtful on the score of number 4 to give you the number 4 score. So once again, I want to play your response and see what are the problems, and just I will analyze it one by one.
I personally prefer to live with a roommate because of two reasons.
You use the article that a lot in your speaking. You said, for I personally prefer to live with that roommate for that two reasons. All right. We don't know what roommate you're talking, and we don't know what reasons you're talking. So you shouldn't use that when the noun is not clear.
First, if we live with a roommate, our roommate will help us in our homeworks if we study in a university and a college. Because in some subjects we will have problems and our roommates will help us to solve our roommates. He will know that subject than us very well. Next, we will learn new ideas from our roommates. For example, our roommate will have a good idea about how to earn money or how to establish a new business, something like that. So this is why I feel this way.
Okay. uh, when another thing that I noticed from you speaking for the second time, listening to your response, was that you whenever you're speaking, okay, actually it is not a problem, right, that you're feeling very calm while you're speaking, but it was, I think, the fluency, the pace was kind of like below natural. It was not exactly the natural speaking is not like as you're speaking. It is a little bit slow. I think if you can, if you, all right, if it is possible, do your best to speak a little bit, a little bit faster than this, because inner fluency, as I mentioned in the class, that uh, a e-rater, right, a speech rater is gonna rate your speaking based on delivery and language use, especially in fluency. Okay, it counts the number of the words you use in your speaking. All right, the more words you use in your speaking per second, the higher number you can get. So it is better for you to just speak a little bit faster than this. Thank you. Uh, I want to give you from the first response. I want to give you a score of 28. This 28 is somehow near to the score of number 4. Exactly, you cannot get the score of number 4, but 28 is going to be a good score. So let's go ahead and let's see the task number 2. All right, the question number 2, or the task number 2, was integrated, one reading passage and one conversation. Okay, and the reading passage was that the university is planning to build some apartments off the campus, and the student in the conversation disagrees with this housing department's plan to build new student housing off campus. She thinks students will still have to drive to campus to get a class, so there will not be any decrease in the number of cars around campus. She also thinks students will miss opportunities to be involved in on-campus activities, which are just as important as the experience of living in a town. Okay, let me see. This is the demand of task number 2. I hope you fulfill the demand of task number 2 correctly.
The lecture is about, according to the article, a new student's apartment will be built outside of the campus, but the woman in the conversation disagrees with the article because of two reasons. First, she says that actually a student's apartment outside of the campus will not help the parking problem because it will also increase the amount of students who drive their cars and come to campus. But if the university built a dormitory inside the campus, it will decrease because they will use the university's transportation. Next, she says that actually students should spend their time more on campus, not outside, because they have to take advantage of the campus, something like that.
Okay, take advantage of the campus. All right, thank you. Very good. It was excellent. Uh, Again, all right. I want to give you right. I think your response once again lies kind of between 3 and 4. Uh, one thing that I noticed from your speaking this time is that you have some lapses, right? The lapses that you had in the beginning of your speaking caused not to support your second reason fully. You didn't have a lot of time to support your second reason because you dedicated a lot of time in the beginning of your speaking, and also you had kind of some lapses and some pauses right in the beginning of your speaking, which is a problem with delivery. But overall, it really fulfilled the demand of the task. You could support the 2 points that the lady made in a conversation. Okay, uh, I think if I rate you according to the ETS rubrics, all right, it is integrated. All right, I'm sure it is between 3 and 4. Right, it's not exactly 3. I've rated a lot of speaking responses, and most of them, the majority of them, lie just in the number 3. But yours was somehow above the number 3. Okay, let me play it again and let you know exactly what the problems are.
According to the article, A new student's apartment will be built outside of the campus, but the woman in the conversation disagrees.
Okay, that is wrong stress that you say disagrees. Don't put a stress on this, all right? Say disagrees. Stress is on the last syllable.
With the article because of two reasons. First, she says that actually an student's apartment outside of the campus will not help the parking problem because it will also increase the amount of students who drive their cars and come to campus. But
I hope you got right in here. You a long pause, okay, which kind of interfere with the intelligibility of your speaking, and is it needs at times the lesson or effort to know or to be waiting what you're gonna say.
if the university built a dormitory inside the campus, it will decrease because they will use the university's transportation. Next, she says that actually students should spend their time more on campus, not outside, because they have to take advantage of the campus, something like that.
Okay, you said take advantage of the campus. Actually, that was I think the word choice has got a problem here. Don't say the campus because they're not gonna take advantage of the campus. They're gonna take advantage of the activities on campus or on campus activities. Okay, so overall, it was a very good response. Once again, I want to say it is between 3 and 4. I think it is kind of like 3.5. Let me mention the problems with. Okay, in delivery this time I didn't notice any problem. You're exceptionally good at delivery part. Although there are some lapses in my some pauses right in your speaking, but it does not really interfere with intelligibility of your speaking. And also the pronunciation seems to be very accurate, and also the intonation. Uh, you're especially good at clarity, which you're speaking is absolutely clear. It does not it does not need any effort to understand what you're saying right in your speaking. That's a perfect response based on delivery. Let's come to the languages. In the languages, also I don't have any idea, right? You're very good at using accurate grammar and also accurate words. But one suggestion I have for you is try to do your best to use a wide range of vocabulary and idiomatic expressions in your speaking to get a score of 30 out of 30 in your speaking. If you try, right? I'm sure if you try, if you right, just take care of whatever I'm saying now, you will absolutely get a score of number 4 or 30 on the TOEFL. Okay, and the topic development, you're exceptionally good. You don't have a lot of problems. Your comprehension, I really appreciate your comprehension. I know that you can comprehend the reading passages, you can comprehend the listening passages. You don't have any problem in topic development, so you can really develop fully your responses. Okay, uh, my score from task number 2 of your response is 27. I'm sorry. Okay. Now it's time to go on task number 3. Task number 3.
The reading passage is about the actor observer. It states that people.
I forgot what the demand of task number 3 is. Uh, First of all, let me share the demand of task number 3, the official guide, and let you know what the demand is for this task. Okay, it was also integrated. It was about actor observer, and then a lecture. The professor talked about actor observer by providing 2 examples. Uh, this is the important points. Okay, if you really talk about all these important points, it means in topic development your response is excellent. But otherwise, if you cannot develop, if you cannot say any of this, if you miss any of the important points in your speaking, okay, I cannot give you the score of number 4 or 30 out of 30 in your speaking. Let's see. We explained I'm sorry. We explain others' behavior differently from how we explain our own behavior. The professor describes how he thought that the man who cut ahead of him in a line was a rude person. This example shows that we tend to explain the behavior of others by attributing it to their character or personality. Then the professor describes how he similarly cut in the line but did not think of himself as rude because he was late for a meeting. This illustrates how we explain our own behavior not in terms of our character but by attributing to situational factors. Okay, let me see if you can what score you can get from this task.
The reading passage is about the actor observer. It states that people explain their behaviors differently from explaining others' behaviors, and the professor in the lecture provides one example to illustrate this. To begin with, he says that one day I was in a line to buy something from a shop, but one person came and cut line and came in front of me, and I thought he was a rude man, he was a mean man, he was a bad man. But next day, actually, I was a hurry and I had a meeting. And when I went to that shop again to buy something, but I saw a long line, and actually when some others came, but I hurried and came before that.
Okay, thank you. Very interesting. You also kind of laughed in one part of your speaking. Okay, uh, here again, right? Somehow you fulfill the demand of the task, but one thing I want to suggest you in delivery part and fluency, you've got a big problem. You know, sometimes you have, for example, kind of like pauses right you're speaking and it needs the listener effort to understand what you're going to say or what you're saying. Try to practice your fluency, not to have pauses and lapses in your speaking. Try to just speak as fluently as you can, right? This is my first suggestion. Here again, I noticed some pauses in your speaking, which is the only problem I think with this response. So in delivery part, you know, because you have this problem, of course you cannot get 30 out of 30. You can get less than that. But in delivery, the fluency is not only criteria. We have pronunciation, we have intonation, we have clarity, but in other parts, you were pretty good, I think. The pacing was also kind of natural and it was clear. Okay, once again, I want to play and see what the problems are.
The reading passage is about the actor observer. It states that people explain their behaviors differently from explaining others' behaviors. And
That is a language use problem. Others behavior, we don't have others behavior. Others is a pronoun. We should say other behavior. All right.
the professor in the lecture provides one example to illustrate this. To begin with, he says that one day I was in a line to buy something from a shop, but one
This is your problem. Just you do not say one sentence fluently in one breath. You've got you've got a lot of breaks in your speaking. You as a clear as an example, let's see the last sentence you said here.
one day I was in a line.
One day I was in a line. It shouldn't be like this, right? Try to speak as fluently as you can because if you speak like this, it needs the lesson or effort to understand you. And the number of the words you're using or speaking is less than the number of the words that a score of number 30 can get. All right, so I want you to speak as fast as you can, not very fast, of course. Fast speaking is not a problem because it interferes with intelligibility of the speaking, but I mean it should be natural, right? At the level of natural.
To buy something from a shop, but one person came and cut line and came in front of me, and I
Yeah. Uh, Here actually you switch the pronoun, which is you're just reporting. You're saying that the professor, for example, was went to the shop and suddenly a person came and cut a line and uh, sit in front of him, but you said in front of me, right? That is a switch. That is a switch between the pronouns. Try to use consistent pronoun here speaking. If you're saying, for example, the professor is just reporting, all right, as a kind of indirect way, at that time, of course, you have to say he, all right, or him or has. But if you're reporting directly from professor, of course you use quoted speech. And quoted speech is you should say, okay, I was at a line, I was, for example, I wanted to buy something from a shop and suddenly a person came and cut a line in front of me, all right, this kind of thing. But here uh, in TOEFL speaking integrated sections, we usually just use the not the quoted speech because we cannot copy and directly say whatever the professor says. So what we do, we paraphrase, and paraphrasing is an indirect way, a reported speech. We just have to use the reported speech. I recommend you, if you can, if you have time, I want you study the noun clause, the reported speech and indirect speech once again, and brush up on whatever you studied in the past, and because they help you a lot in this part of your speaking.
I thought he was a rude man, he was a mean man, he was a bad man. But
He was a rude man, he was a bad man, he was a something. Instead of this, so many sample sentences that you can say he was a rude, bad, and mean person. All right, try to use the adjectives together instead of using 3 4 sentences.
next day, actually, I was a Harry and I had a meeting.
Again, you say I was a Harry. Next day he was in a hurry. Just you reporting, okay? You're not saying yourself. You're not talking about yourself. The listener will just be confused and perplexed or mixed up what you're saying. You're saying about yourself or you're saying about the professor. Okay? Try to in the from the beginning up to the end, try to direct what you're saying to the professor. Okay? Because you are reporting. You're not saying from yourself.
And when I went to that shop again to buy something, but I saw a long line and action.
Here exactly it needs my effort to understand. I think you understood that what the problem was here.
When some others came, but I hurried and came before that.
You couldn't clearly talk about the second reason. You didn't have time to talk about the second reason. Actually, not the second reason, the second point of the speaking. According to the demand of the task, it was that the next day the professor went there, and he had an urgent meeting. He was in a hurry, he cut a line, and he didn't think of himself as a rude person because he was in a hurry, he had a meeting, right? And so uh, the lecture clearly illustrates how we attribute our own behavior differently from others behavior. When we do something, we say it belongs to the situational factors, right? It's due to such situational factors. But if others do something, we say it is their character, it is their personality. Okay, overall it was very good. uh, this time I noticed some problems nearly in every section. Delivery, the fluency was a big problem here in this task. It needs a lot of effort for me. And also in topic development, you didn't support the second point of your speaking, so I don't want to give you the number that I got you. I gave you in task number one and number two. So I want to give you a score of. Okay, let me share with you. I want to give you a score of 25. Okay, you're just the numbers are decreasing. I hope the last one is not below 25. Okay, it's time for the last one. Let's listen to the last one. But first of all, I have to share the demand of the test number 4, question number 3, question number 4. It was a lecture, and the important points were the learning art skills can have an important impact on the emotional development of young children in 2 ways. Uh, One is by helping them to express complex emotions. Drawing can, for example, help children express emotions that they cannot express in words. The little girl expressed pride when she drew a picture of herself looking proud of learning to ride a bike. Okay, this was the example. the second way, the second way art can help young children is by teaching them persistence. After spending time perfecting an art piece, such as a little boy sculpting a car out of clay, they can see their success. Persistence is the second point. Okay, now it's time to share your response and see what number you can get.
The lectures about the benefits of learning art on children's development, and the professor describes two benefits of it. First, he says that learning art is a good platform for showing emotions. For example, is for example, children do not have enough vocabularies and they shows their emotions by drawings. For example, they show by drawings their proudness, something like that. Next, she talks about the benefit that is encouraging persistent. For example, when children cast a clay in a shape of car, and he will continue and it increases their consistent.
Okay, thank you. Very good. uh, Here again, right? You just had some pauses and lapses, but so hopefully, the number of the pauses you had at task number 4 was less than the number of the pauses you had in task number 3. But I didn't notice so many problems in pronunciation. Just I noticed a problem. Okay, one word in your pronunciation, which was a mistake, and that was enough. Okay, it is pronounced enough. But this time you had some very basic grammatical structures mistakes. You said they shows, all right, and also a children. That is a very big problem, right? You shouldn't have at least minor problems. I mean, this kind of basic structure problems in your speaking. It really brings your number down, no matter what how you develop, no matter what delivery you have. But if you have, for example, some kind of problems like that, of course you cannot get a good score. Okay, let me play it again and let you know what those problems are.
The lectures about the benefits of learning art on children's development, and the professor describes two benefits of it. First, he says that learning art is a good platform for showing emotions. For example, is for example, children
Okay, the pause here, is a long pause. If you have the long pause, the speech reader will just bring your number down. And it shows that it is not natural. It is not fluent.
do not have enough vocabularies,
That's enough. All right, stress in the second syllable.
and they shows their emotions by
Okay, they shows their emotion. This is a problem with your languages.
drawings. For example, they show by drawings their proudness, something like that. Next, she talks about the benefit that is encouraging persistent. For example, when
Encouraging persistence. I don't know what it. Okay, exactly. I think it does not make sense if you say encouraging persistence. Or I think it was teaching persistence, teaching the children persistent words, or you can say encouraging the children to have persistence.
children
At children, right? You see?
cast a clay in a shape of car, and he will continue and it increases their consistent.
Okay, because of some very basic structure problems. This time, I'm not gonna give you the scores that I've given you in other tasks. I'm sure this task, I mean, this time is your score is like a score of number 3. Okay, let me read. In the delivery part, speech is generally clear. Yours was also very clear, with some fluidity of expression, but exhibit minor difficulty with pronunciation. The same problem with you. Intonation or pacing and may require some listener effort at times. Exactly, yours was like this. Overall intelligibility remains good, however. The response demonstrates fairly automatic and effective use of grammar and vocabulary and fairly coherent expression of relevant ideas. Good. Response may exhibit some imprecise or inaccurate use of vocabulary or grammatical structures or be somewhat limited in range of structures used. Such limitations do not seriously interfere with the communication of the message. I hope you understood right. Yours also, it was kind of some of the vocabulary and grammatical usage was inaccurate and imprecise. And another problem with your speaking was that uh, your structures and vocabulary are just limited, right? Limited. You do not use a wide range of vocabulary in your speaking, so it somehow limited your vocabulary. Try to use a wide range of vocabulary and grammatical structures in order to get a good score. The development part, the responses sustain and convey relevant information required by the task. However, it exhibits some incompleteness, inaccuracy, lack of specificity with respect to content, or choppiness in the progression of ideas. Okay, my response for my score for this task number 4 is uh okay, I told you 20. It was 3 and 3 is like 23 in the TOEFL. Okay, very good scores. Now let me calculate the average score that you can get. So okay, let me share the calculator with you. Right, the first one was 28. Okay, the second one was 27. The third one 25. The fourth one is 24 or 23. Yeah, 23. Wow, 103 divided by 4. An excellent score. Okay, 25.7 is like 26 in uh, the real test. Thank you so much. It was a very good, a very good number. It is, I think, it is incredible score that you got. I hope you just keep it up and try your best, especially in notice the problems that you had, especially in fluency. I want you try to speak a little bit faster if you can, and take care of the words and the structures that you're using in your speaking. Uh, Although you don't have a lot of problems in language use, but what I want you to do is to use a wide range of vocabulary and idiomatic expressions in order to get a score of 30 out of 30, or at least 27 plus. And in development, okay, I don't have any comment. Right, your development seems to be very okay, because you're good at comprehension and taking notes. You understand the lecture and also the listening and also the reading, so you can get a good you can give a good response and you develop fully. Thank you. I hope this video was helpful for you, and try to take care of my comments and apply in your speaking. I hope the second response that you send to me will be much better than this. Okay, goodbye.